Howdy folks, welcome back to another weekly market review for F45trading.com. This week we are reviewing April the 12th to April 16th. Real quick, what's on the calendar for this week? We've got Fed, at the time of this recording, Fed Chair Powell was speaking briefly before this recording, a couple hours before the recording, and that started to move markets a little bit indecision on their point. He kind of was saying that looks like the U.S. dollar could be potentially at an inflection point. So we'll see what that transposes to in the markets this week. We've got the some heavy impact news events for Canadian dollar first thing out of the gate Monday morning. So expect some volatility on the Canadian markets. We've got a 10-year bond auction for the U.S. dollar and some medium impact news events for Aussie. Going into the rest of the week, high impact news events on Tuesday. So this is definitely going to move price. New York open on Tuesday, so watch for that. Everything associated with the U.S. dollar. And then we've got Powell speaking again midweek on Wednesday at 10 a.m. along with crude oil inventories. And then we've got an employment change and some high impact unemployment rate news for Australian dollars. So be very careful of that as well too if you are trading Aussie this week. And then we've got wrapping up the week with core retail sales, Fed Philly manufacturing numbers and unemployment claims for the U.S. dollar, and then prelim consumer sentiment for the dollar to wrap up Friday. So all in all, pretty high impact news events. Definitely make sure you are aware Tuesday morning and Wednesday afternoon, of course, and then Thursday morning again. So those 3 days are going to be pretty heavy hitting for the U.S. dollar. Now, getting into the charts here real quick. I'm going to keep this short and sweet this week. So last week I mentioned to you guys I was expecting price in U.S. dollar to roll over and to come back down into this consolidation area. That's exactly what we got. I was incorrect, though, on the response in this area. I was hoping we would have saw price stab down in there and had an immediate reaction and shoot higher. We did not get that, so we're looking this week to see sort of, with Powell's comments, with the market sentiment, a few other rationales in there, really what's going to happen with the markets this week. Now, U.S. dollar, we had a pretty healthy run in here, and really from this old area back up into here, down to this low here, a very, very nice retracement for an overall bearish outlook on the U.S. dollar for the past couple of years. You got to think where this thing came from, as you can see, way back up here, and where we're at now. So, again, a lot of bearish activity on the U.S. dollar. It definitely came to a head towards the end of last year, and now the start of this year, for the first quarter at least anyway, had a nice retracement. So the million-dollar question is, do we continue to retrace higher? And that's why I have these levels here, 93.65, 93.80, and ultimately 94 and above, potentially earmarked for the U.S. dollar. But we have to get through this area in price up into here. So what I'm watching to see this week is if Monday, Tuesday come in and we see price shoot above here, or if we just kind of sit around in here until we start to see some of the heavy impact news events. Now, if U.S. dollar decides to go back through this consolidation area right in here, basically the 91.60 level is going to be my line in the sand. So if we see price trade below and close on a daily candle below 91.60, then I believe we're going to start attacking the sell side liquidity underneath these lows here, and potentially getting under this one and maybe under these lows here ultimately. And this potentially could have been the run up that we've seen, and U.S. dollar will eventually start to cool off. I personally believe that we'll probably see one more pop higher on the dollar. I think we're probably going to stretch up into here, and again, just looking at the overall trend from where it came from to where we are now, I think there's a very good chance. Now, do we get above this and then roll over and go lower? That's very possible. We'll have to kind of wait and see how that one pans out. But for now, I'd like to see if this level here from last Friday holds up and we start to see price charge ahead. If we can get above this consolidation area and above this 92.90 level and into the 93s, I think we can easily target this area up here and into there. So I'd like to see if we can get up to there and stretch its wings up into this range into the end of the week. So let's watch for that. Again, my line in the sand, 91.60, and I can put a level that on the chart right about in this area right here, about 91.60 ish. for a potential line in the sand. If we cross this level here, this threshold here, and close below it on the daily, then I think we're probably going to continue to go lower. Okay, so watch for that. Euro USD, we've got some equal highs up here that I've been looking at for quite a while. I think, again, if they're more than likely probably going to run price higher on US dollar, we're going to find out, you know, obviously, what it wants to do here. But price, if you look at the retracement here and it a range coming back up into this consolidation in here, we should start to see price roll over a little bit here. Now, the interesting part is we see where I have this line right here. See this old equal low right here. A lot of confluence at this level. You can go back and check into the chart here. A lot of consolidation, a lot of price activity right at this level here. So I would expect them to at least stretch down into there. And for Euro USD, I think that's sort of the inflection point, if you will, on whether we go lower or if we go higher. If you see price slam down into that low again, which comes in at 118.35, 118.40, somewhere in around there, 118.20, and price is unwilling to go lower and into this consolidation range, then we're probably not going to make another low, and this will be the low, and we'll probably see price rebound, take out these highs here, and go higher. Now, I think what they're probably going to do is leave these highs intact, probably shoot lower, and again, if we see higher prices on the US dollar, we should see them probably shoot below to take out this low here. So again, watch for this low in here, the 1835 level, and we'll see if they want to breach that and continue to run lower. If they don't, then again, we'll be targeting these equal highs here. But I think in conjunction with the US dollar, if we do see a dollar run higher, we should see lower Euro USD prices. So we'll see how much further they want to take it, if any at all. Watch these equal lows in here, though. I think we're probably going to run that early in the week, and then we'll see sort of where it wants to go from there. Okay, and same thing with the US dollar. If US dollar just pops above these highs here, but fails to get above the 92.90 level that I have marked out on the chart there, then we could see price dump lower. So definitely watch that potential failure swing. Again, something like this could certainly play out this week as well too. And I'm watching this and a failure to get above this high there, because that is definitely, again, that inflection point I was talking about. GbpUsd, I think there's no question about it. We're going to take these lows here. How far deep does this thing want to swing lower? Pardon me. I do have this old low under here at 130, 135.65. Call it 135.60. That could be a potential target. It's about 100 pips from current location, and GbpUsd easily could sweep that low and then continue higher and run above these highs here, because we do have, I want you to make sure you put this on your chart, these level highs right in there, drag it out, extend it. They are going to take those highs eventually, but the $1,000,000 question is, do they leave it like this? Do they shoot below it? Do they shoot below here and then run higher? I think there's a very good chance. And again, look where we've come from on GbpUsd. I mean, massive upswing. It's obviously due for a little bit of a correction. We could go a little bit deeper, again, under this low. Potentially, if we see the US dollar run higher, that is going to be the target. If we see the US dollar, however, do a bounce that could potentially happen, watch for them to sweep this low here and then possibly run higher and start to attack these highs up there. Okay, so just again, we'll know by about Tuesday with all that high impact news events if the US dollar wants to continue its momentum upward. If it does, we should see GbpUsd drop lower. Australian dollar, really consolidated here. They're going to move this fairly significantly here in the next little while. I don't know how long we're going to stay in this consolidation for, but typically when price consolidates like that, think of it as a spring, and eventually that spring is going to release and price is going to bounce. We did have them run this low just briefly right here, and I was hoping they would have ran down to 7,500 level. Price fell just a little bit shy of that about a week and a half ago, and so far hasn't failed to go absolutely nowhere. Watch this consolidation level up into here again, but I think if we do see US dollar run higher, then we probably will see Aussie fall off, and this will be just a sort of a bump on a road. Could possibly get underneath this low here and maybe under some of these lows into here, so watch for that. And then, as I say, if the US dollar does that failure swing, which it possibly could, so if we shoot up into here and then fail, watch Aussie to possibly shoot below this low here, but then run higher and see if we can't take out that high there if US dollar drops. Okay, I'm giving you kind of both sides of the peg here, but at the end of the day, I definitely think that Aussie is going to springboard pretty substantially. Again, usually when price consolidates like this, tightly like this, you see a pretty good expansion. And you can just look past here to see exactly what I'm talking about. Price consolidated very, very tightly, had a real brief drop down, and then a nice explosive expansion to the upside. I'm expecting another explosive expansion. We're just waiting to see which direction they want to take it in. Again, we're coming off of a bearish sort of standpoint. And this kind of also looks a bit like a head and shoulders pattern as well too. Not that I'm really play a lot of faith into those or anything, but watch the US dollar. You'll gain the direction and the bias from that. If you see US dollar starting to shoot higher, you will see Aussie break to the downside significantly. If the opposite happens with the US dollar, expect them to run potentially this high and maybe that high there on Australian dollar. And ultimately, these are my targets long term going forward. But you can see again, right, we've had a pretty substantial run up on Aussie, and a little bit of retracement is obviously in order. And for them to come back down and pick up some of the sell stops below price here from everybody going along, I think that's going to be the short order of business here going forward, which is again kind of why I think we're probably going to see another leg higher potentially on the US dollar. UsCad, that also lends to this idea of UsCad shooting up above these highs here. So watch for that. Similar consolidation as well into Australian dollar. I'm waiting to see the execution to happen on this pair. It's pretty muddy in here and it's very, very tough to trade. So instead of getting beat up in these areas in here, you want to watch for the sudden movements, the sudden run lower to see if it fails and then rejects and then goes higher. That's where you get long, or the sudden run above these highs here and immediate rejection and starting to run lower. That's where you get short. Okay, you typically don't want to be banking your positions and getting knocked around in here by several hundred pips, because it it doesn't do you any good doing that. You wait for markets to make its direction, make its move, show its hand, and then you get in on it. Okay, very simple. Crude oil is another one we're waiting for right now. Massive consolidation here. Waiting for the other shoe to drop on this guy here. I thought last week we would have saw it with all the OPEC meetings, but unfortunately we didn't get that. The week previous, I thought we would have saw it with that Evergreen tanker, cargo ship stuck in the Suez Canal. I figure that this would have jammed the price up there as well, or higher on crude oil as well. Didn't get that, so we're waiting for a catalyst here, and I'm not too sure what that is. Now, the problem that we've got is typically, seasonally speaking, crude oil, Brent, WTI, it typically starts to make its high of the quarter in and around now. You may get another week or two of bullish activity into here, but typically price starts to level off, and then it does start to go lower for the summer months, only for it to hit lows into October, time frame, September, October time frame, and then price makes another pretty significant rally. So we, may have seen the high, so far for the next few months on crude oil, but we'll have to wait and see. I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't jam this thing up one more time. But look at this area here, under $57. I am fully expecting them to run these stops out here very, very shortly. So once they do that, it'll depend. Do we shoot up into here, fail, and then go lower, or do we do the opposite? If we do the opposite and come shooting down here and reject and come back into this range, I'll be getting long and potentially see if we can't ride out one more high on crude oil. If we see the alternate happening, like I say, price shoots up into here, back into this consolidation range and fails, I'll be getting short on crude oil, and we'll be targeting underneath here and possibly lower. Last but not least, obviously, the metals. We've got a lot of, quote-unquote indecision so far in the metals. Price just kind of is hanging around waiting for US dollar to do something. We've got a lot of equal lows here. So mark my words, they will come down for these equal lows. I just don't know when they're going to do it. If you look at these lows here, these have been waiting to get run since about this time last year, and they elected to shoot price all the way up and slowly matriculate all the way back down. I think there's a very, very likely chance that we're probably going to see the price on gold drop again to sweep these lows here. What we do from there, That's what I'm watching very, very closely. Okay, and same thing on silver. Silver is a little bit more stronger in terms of the two markets. I believe we're probably going to see silver maintain some of these highs. I don't think we're going to shoot below here. Anything's possible, but I do think these lows under here are going to get a run for their money. Underneath 23.5 is sort of what I'm looking for. You can kind of see we're starting to make just a brief creep higher, but I think we're probably going to make another leg down on silver, which is again leading my theory that we're probably going to see another leg up more than likely on US dollar. So that's it. That's all, folks. I hope I was able to help a little bit, give you a little bit of directional bias, at least some things to keep on your chart to mark it down, so that way, you know, if you do get stuck and you're wondering where things are going, again, if we were above this line, go long. If we're below this line, go short. And anything in here, we're just kind of waiting for. So good luck this week, folks. For all my members, I will see you back in the chat room tomorrow, and we're going to be getting after things fairly quickly. So looking forward to it. It's going to be another good week here, I believe. And for everybody else, I will catch you next Sunday, same time, same place as always. Thanks for watching. And again, make sure you hit that like button. Hit subscribe if you haven't already, and share this out to your network. I would really appreciate that. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you have a great week of trading.